So today I will be covering the connections between gamers and developers, and more focused towards the indie games and how we can help as gamers. So a little bit of background and some of the popular games. So in the world of video games, there are many different types of games and genres as well. One of the most unique genres of the gaming world is called indie games. Now, what exactly is an indie game? Well, these type of video games are typically either created by one person or a small group of individuals on their own time without the major support and fundings that big time companies such as Nintendo have. Some of the most popular indie games in today's generation include Undertale by Toby Fox, Stardew Valley by Eric Barone, and Hollow Knight by Team Cherry. These three games have brought to life all sorts of new ways to look at and play games, which have enticed many gamers to want to play them. Undertale has a unique gimmick that allows for different story paths to occur depending on your actions, and is even coded to prevent you from going back in the game to rewrite your actions. The game knows what to do the first time, and it won't let you change it without deleting the save file. Stardew Valley is a small farm game that has some reminiscences to the Animal Crossing franchise by Nintendo. However, it has a more of a 64-bit style to it. Hollow Knight has a fully in-depth storyline that allows you to follow in order to battle and learn more about the game's historical aspects as you play. As people might guess, there are also new indie games being made in the upcoming years that people are excited for. These games include the Deltarune Chapters, which is a spin-off of Undertale, Stray, and Little Devil Inside. So some of the struggles of the developers, there actually has been struggles throughout the years. Many games have been created and come and go as time moves forward. Developers have had to tweak and learn about the community that they are wanting to focus on continuously and have to deal with all sorts of issues, including finance, miscommunication, and the lack of creativity. Financial issues is something almost all indie game developers face in their career because the cash flow is in less than what they have going out into their game. This is due to many different things, but the biggest reason for it is that the game's originality isn't striking the correct chords with their own audiences. Miscommunication is something that developers struggle with because they learn through mistakes, and from reviews of their game as well. However, the communication can become confusing if the correct ideas and wording isn't used properly. Finally, the creative aspect is something that heavily impacts these developers because of how many games there are nowadays. It's hard to create something that is brand new without the idea already being put into action or having it already being worked on by other people in big time companies. So some of the struggles with the gamers, well, while the developers face many different struggles, gamers also have struggles that they have to face with these situations as well. Miscommunication, poor forms of review, and lack of content for the games is some of the things that gamers can face. While people might think that communication isn't too bad because between developers and gamers, it actually is a whole wide it actually holds a wide impact because of the learning of how the game's mechanics work and how to have the most fun with the game in general. Proper forming of a review can be a struggle for gamers when they don't know exactly what they're doing for it. And not only that, most of the time, people become uninformed about how impactful it is for both the developers and gamers as well. Content for a game is something that every gamer loves and wants to have in a game. While some of these have a wide and expansive set of gameplay options, there are some out there that offer a very limited amount of content and styles to play around with, making these games become too boring rather quickly in most cases. So time and experiences. As time has progressed and developers learn more about their audiences and communities, they continue to work on tweaking their games to fit their audiences. This allows for the developers to maintain their fan bases and learn more about how to benefit the community as well. While some games might require more content, others might require bug fixes or glitch fixes. The amount of issues that can arise over time can be quite alarming, and it helps to know when something is going wrong so that the developers can work on getting it fixed for the gamers to continue enjoying the game to the fullest. So, how we as gamers can help developers. As gamers, we can look at the developers and see all sorts of problems that they have to deal with. Some might even begin to question how exactly can we help these developers in our own ways in order to get their games to be the best that they can be? Well, there are actually many different ways that we can help the developers, whether it be through detailed reviews or free advertisement to friends and social media platforms, or even a simple gesture of donations can help a developers out. Through reviews, these allow for the developers to continue to learn and work on their games to better fit a community's wants. Advertising for the game allows us to get a public boost in order to attract more people to play the game, which helps the financial issues, and same goes for donations. As stated before, financing is something a lot of indie games and their developers face on a constant basis. And these are just some of the ways that we can help. It's a complex but also rather simple system of consumer and creator supply. These are demands that allow for both sides of the game and the community to help each other out in the end. Without one, the other falls. While if you have both, they work together to build up as one and learn to grow over time. They benefit each other and can also hurt each other depending on what exactly is going on in the situations, and it helps to understand more about what is going on to make it easier to solve situations to get back to on track for both parties.